All right. So please take these first couple moments here to get settled. Finding a seat with a nice tall spine and closing the eyes, just allowing yourself to come into the present moment. Just allowing anything that has already transpired for the day and anything that you have coming up for the rest of the day, just letting all that move out into the periphery. Really centering yourself in the here and the now. And doing so by beginning to tune in and to feel the physical body. Because as we know, the physical body is always operating in the present moment. It can't be any other way. So just tuning into the position that you're in, just feeling your sitting bones on the ground, the floor, the mat, feeling the gentle cross of the legs, feeling the way the arms are situated. And just taking a moment at the hands and feeling the pressure, the light pressure of hand to thigh or knee. And just taking a moment to feel that, feeling the temperature, feeling the texture of your pants. Just beginning to turn up the dial on noticing and feeling. And then begin to notice the breath. First, just the natural breath. Just becoming aware of this breathing mechanism that is always at work. Gently drawing breath in, gently releasing it out. And then beginning to deepen the breath. So from this point until we reach Savasana, setting the intentional breath in motion. So nice, deep, rich, full inhales, segueing into long, slow exhales. So really maximizing the breath in and out through the nose. And letting the belly space be soft so that you're really allowing the belly to expand with each inhale and soften with each exhale. And on your next inhale, see if there's space just to grow the spine a little bit taller, like you have a string at the top of the head, gently pulling upright. Keep any space that you just created. And on your next exhale, just soften the shoulders. Let the arms get heavier, bringing your attention back down to your seat. So beginning to cultivate this awareness of both being grounded, tethered, connected, as well as feeling this sense of opening and expansion and lightness. And we feel this through the breath, through the inhales and the exhales. And just one more moment here, letting the breath be the very center of attention. And from here, let's gently open up the eyes and we'll begin in butterfly pose. So bringing the soles of the feet together and grabbing onto feet or ankles or shins, whatever you can easily manage. And use the grasp to pull the spine up nice and tall. So we want to try to avoid a rounding in the back as best you can. And you'll find when you pull the spine up taller, it increases the stretch on the groin. So just being mindful of that, not over pulling into the pose. And active feet, so you're pushing the balls of the feet together and spreading the toes out. This just engages the legs in a little bit different way. Let the chest lift, let the heart open, let the shoulders soften. And then let's find a little bit of movement here in the legs. So like you're flapping the butterfly wings, just gentle rising and falling of the knees. Open up and move the hip joints a little bit. And then gently releasing that. And then seeing if you have space to lift the spine a little bit taller. And then let's take the fingertips forward. And before we start to round the spine, think of lengthening first. So keep the back as flat as you can. And then beginning at the lower part of the spine, when the spine can no longer stay flat, then you begin to round one vertebrae at a time. So you're lengthening and rounding, lengthening, rounding. Just keep going that way until eventually we bring the head to release down toward the floor. And right away, bring the breath into the back body. So it might be a little harder to breathe into the belly space here. So let the back body expand. Continuing to let the breath flow as full and as slow as possible. And then we'll gently roll up through the spine here, bringing the torso upright. And then from here, we're going to take this left leg around to the back. And you want to open this knee as far back as is comfortable. And this left hip is going to come off the floor. So there's an internal rotation of this left thigh. And then we're going to move the right heel a little bit further away from the pelvis. So this is sort of a variation of pigeon pose. And then we're going to just walk the hands forward over this right shin and let the spine round, let the head release. So you might be getting a nice big stretch in the outer right hip area, the groin area. So wherever you feel this, breathe into it as if you could take the breath right into the tight spots. Letting the upper body be unengaged. So you're just allowing the torso and the head to hang. And the weight is supported by the arms. So either you're on the forearms, or if that's not accessible to you, you can just be up on the hands as well. So whatever the body allows. And then from here, we'll gently roll up through the spine. From here, pull the right heel back in toward the pelvis. We're going to take this left leg up and over, crossing the foot to the outside of the thigh, coming into a seated twist here. Gently use the hand to pull the knee up. This left hand comes behind you. You can also try this variation, elbow to the outside of the knee. That will give you a little bit more of a assist in the twist. So either way, either one is acceptable. Find a nice tall spine. Big inhale, and then on the exhale, we'll look all the way back over the left shoulder. Keep the spine really lifted. That left foot is pressing into the floor, so that's a stability point. And use that as well as the left hand behind you against the floor to keep the spine nice and tall. We'll take one more inhale here, and then we'll release the twist on the exhale. And we'll do the other side. So now the left leg tucks in, and we'll take this right leg around to the back. And again, open this knee as far to the back as you can manage. Let this hip come off the floor. So we're internally rotating this thigh. And then we'll move this left foot forward away from the pelvis a little bit. And then we'll gently begin to walk the hands and fold the torso over the shin. And again, maybe you come down to the forearms. Maybe you just stay up on the hands if that's what's more accessible to you. So finding your limitation, honoring it. Finding the edge though. So we always want to find that edge, maybe dancing lightly across it, but never pushing. Wherever you are, just let the head release and let the breath be big and full. And then from here, we'll gently bring the torso upright, pulling that left heel back in toward the pelvis. Well, now we'll take the right leg up and over, crossing it to the outside of the left leg. And then again, you can either use the hand to pull the knee up, or if you like this version of the elbow to knee, that's acceptable too. Either way, right hand comes behind you. Press the hand into the floor, make the spine nice and tall. Big inhalation, and then on the exhale, we'll look all the way back over the right shoulder. Nice big breath here. Take one more nice big inhale here, and then we'll release the twist on the exhale. And let's unwind from that, and we'll come over to the hands and the knees. We'll do a little cat-cow just to get the spine moving. So with the breath, we'll take a nice big inhale, arching the belly, dropping the belly, lifting the head. And we'll take a long, slow exhale, rounding the spine and curling inward. So really make this all about the breath. Huge breath in as we arch and open. And long, slow breath out as we tuck and curl every vertebrae, rounding inward. Again, nice big breath in, really dropping the belly, opening the throat space. And now on the exhale, push the hands into the floor, spread the space between the shoulder blades, curl and round. Exhale all the breath out. One more here, hugest breath yet. And long, slow exhale, rounding, rounding, rounding. And then we'll just come to neutral, flat back. From here, let's extend the left leg out back, lifting the leg, flex the foot. So you're really pushing that heel out and away from you, like you're stamping into an imaginary wall behind you. Let's take a nice big inhale here, lift the leg a little higher. And then on the exhale, we're gonna cross the left foot behind you over to the right, bringing the toes to the floor. And then you're gently gonna look over the right shoulder back toward that foot. You might be feeling a nice stretch along the outer left hip area or maybe into the waist. So just breathe into this wherever you feel it. And then we'll take a nice big inhale, lifting the leg back up to its starting position. And then on exhale, we'll take knee to nose, so rounding the spine, curling inward. Two more like that. Big breath in, flex the foot, lift the leg, lift the chin. And then on the exhale, point the toes, curl the spine, round inward. Last one, nice big breath in here. And long, slow exhale as we curl. Really use the core, pull the forehead to the knee to forehead, and then just bring the knee to the floor, and we'll do the other side. So now extending the right leg out back, flex the foot, strong energy through that heel, really push the heel out and away from you. Take a nice big inhale here, and then on the exhale, we'll cross the right foot over to the floor behind you, over to the left, and then gently looking over that left shoulder toward the left foot. Toward the right foot. And just breathe. So the thighs are crisscrossing strongly here. And then on your next inhale, we'll take the leg back up. Nice big breath here, lift the leg a little higher. And then on the exhale, point the toes, knee to nose, round the spine, try to pull the knee all the way up to the forehead. Two more, nice big breath in, flexing and lifting. Exhale, point the toes as you round and curl. Last one. And exhale, exhale, exhale. Keep curling in. And then we'll bring the knee to the floor. Let's push back to extended child's pose. So toes touching, knees nice and wide. Bring the hips back to the heels. Just let the torso release, let the head release. Let everything soften downward. And with the knees nice and wide here, there's space for the belly to really expand. So see if you can breathe deeply into the belly space in this pose. Really feeling that inherent connection with the floor and with the earth. Pose of reverence. So feel that connection. And then from here, let's inhale back up to the hands and the knees. We'll curl the toes under, and on an exhale, push the hips up into downward facing dog. And you can take these first few moments in down dog to move any way that feels good. If you want to push one heel to the floor, then the other heel to the floor. Maybe the hips move a little bit in there. Just letting things begin to open, and then finding a little stillness here. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Equal weight between hands and feet, left and right. And lengthen the space between the armpits and the hips. So it's almost as if you're pushing your hands on the top of the mat away from you, and the tailbone is reaching skyward. And let the head hang nice and loose, no extra tension in the neck, heels gently reaching toward the floor. One more breath here. And then let's slowly walk the feet up toward the hands, finding our way into forward fold. The knees be bent a little bit here just to release a tucking of the tailbone. So we want the low back to have a flatness to it. Let the arm bones hang, let the head hang. Just letting gravity help decompress the vertebrae, release the tension in the arms and the shoulders. And then let's bend the knees a little bit more. We'll slowly roll all the way up to standing. Making our way into mountain pose. So big toes can be touching or feet can be right underneath the hips, whatever's more comfortable for your body. And we'll bring the hands to heart center, just feeling that gentle pressure of left to right. So feel the feet, maybe even just closing the eyes to facilitate a deeper sense and awareness. Feeling the soles of the feet pressing down, strength through the legs, stability through the pelvis, a gentle rising up through the spine, out through the crown of the head, and shoulders are soft. And then today we'll do a couple of rounds of full sun salutations. So coming up to the top of the mat, and with the breath, we'll take a nice big inhale, arms out and up. And then on the exhale, forward folding all the way down, little bend to the knees at the bottom. Long flat back as we half lift, hands to shins, looking up slightly, and exhale, refolding down. Now on an inhale, right foot to the back of the mat, knee down. We'll hold here for a breath, just opening up the hip flexor. Stay for one more inhale here, and then exhale, plant the hands, and we'll step back to down dog. From down dog, let's take a nice big inhale forward into plank pose. And again, we'll hold for the exhale. Take another nice big inhale here, and on the exhale, drop the knees, drop the chest, coming all the way onto the belly. Uncurling the toes into cobra, nice big inhale. So press the hands down, gently lifting the head and chest, and exhale, release. Inhale back to hands and knees, curling the toes, exhaling back to down dog. Now on your inhale, right foot comes forward, nice big breath in, drop the back knee down, looking up slightly, we'll stay for the exhale. Take one more big inhale here, and then on the exhale, we'll step forward into our forward fold. Let's rise up to standing, sweeping the arms out and up, and exhaling hands to the heart. Second side, inhale, just flowing with the breath. Exhaling as we fold. Do our half lift, long flat back as we inhale, looking up slightly, and exhale, refolding down. Now inhale, left foot all the way to the back of the mat, knee down, looking up slightly. Plant the hands and exhale back to down dog. On your inhale, we'll come forward to plank pose. So nice big breath in. And then on the exhale, drop the knees, drop the chest, coming all the way to the belly, uncurling the toes. We'll inhale into cobra. So crown of the head moves forward and up. You're lengthening the spine. And exhale, gently releasing. Back to hands and knees, inhale. Curl the toes, exhale, down dog. Now on the inhale, left foot comes forward to the top of the mat. Back knee down, looking up slightly. And on the exhale, we'll step forward into our forward fold. Let's rise on up to standing, big breath in. And exhaling hands to the heart. And now just close the eyes here and take a moment again just to feel. Feel the soles of the feet. Feel the breath. Notice the energy started to move through the body. Notice your presence. Just noticing, that's what this practice is about, deeper awareness. And then from here, let's come into chair pose. We'll keep the hands at the heart. You're just going to bend into the knees. Weight comes back in the heels. So see if you can actually lift all 10 toes. Shoulders are soft. Keep the shoulders soft, and we're just going to extend the arms out by the ears. A couple nice big breaths here. Take one more big inhale, and then on the exhale, we're going to release down into a forward fold. Just letting all that go. Again, just letting the arm bones hang, letting the head hang, letting everything be soft. And then we're going to rise back up into chair pose again. So take a nice big inhale. We'll start with the hands at the heart, knees bent, sinking back into that chair. And then we're going to come into twist variation. So we're going to take the right hand to the outside of the left knee, and the left arm is going to come around behind the back. So use that pressure of hand to knee to help open the shoulders to the left. Take one more nice big inhale here. And then on the exhale, we'll release back down into our forward fold, just letting all of that go. Let's do a little half lift here. Long, flat back, just lengthening the spine. Exhale, refolding. And then last time into chair, nice big inhale, hands at the heart. And then we'll twist the other side. So left hand to the outside of the right knee, right hand comes around behind the back, using that pressure of hand to knee to help facilitate a little opening through the shoulders. Let's take one more inhale here. And then again, gently releasing on the exhale, just letting all of that go. And then let's bend the knees a little bit more, and we'll slowly roll all the way up to standing. And from here, we're going to come into high lunge. So we'll start with the right foot forward and the left foot back. So you can just step back into high lunge. And if you normally have a little bit shorter of a stance, see if you can widen the stance a little bit here. And the back knee is bent, the heel is pointing straight up toward the ceiling, the knee is pointing straight down to the floor. And we'll take the arms up by the ears. So feel the connection. There's that essence of mountain pose in all the standing poses, but really feel the front foot connected, the back ball of the foot. There's a sinking down, but there's also a lightness here. And then we're going to move a little bit with the breath here. So on an inhale, we're going to straighten the back leg and hinge forward, reaching through the fingertips and the crown of the head. So one long line here. And then exhale, we'll come back into high lunge. Now on the inhale, we'll bend the back knee, bringing it close to the floor. You can decide how low you go, and exhale back into the high lunge. So again, like that, inhale as we reach forward. So you're lengthening back heel all the way through crown of the head and fingertips, and exhale, coming back upright. Inhale, bending into the knee, and exhale back up. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reaching, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And exhale, coming up. And inhaling down. And exhaling up. Good. From here, let's bring the hands to the heart. And now we're going to bring the left knee up to the chest. So if you see if you can do that in one fell swoop, just zoop. I couldn't do it in one fell swoop. Wobbling here, totally okay. So just finding your stability here. Find the mountain pose in that supporting leg. Knee to the chest. Core slightly engaged here. And then we're going to move into swan pose. It's a warrior 3 variation. We're going to bend the supporting leg. We're going to start to push that left heel toward the back behind us as the arms come alongside the body. So again, like we did on hands and knees, flex that back foot, really push that energy out through the heel. Fingertips are reaching in the same direction. And then from here, we're going to slowly bring the knee back to the chest. Taking a moment here. And then see how soft and graceful you can step back into high lunge. So reaching that left foot to the back of the mat. Arms coming up. Take a nice big inhale here, and then exhale, hands to the floor. Now we're going to step back into 3-point plank. So the right foot's going to sweep to the back and up. So left foot on the floor, right foot lifted. Holding here. If this is too much for you, you can always lower the leg. Take one more breath here, and then exhale. We'll all bring the foot to the floor. One more inhale here, and then exhale, drop the knees, drop the chest, coming all the way onto the belly. Let's do one cobra here. So lengthen the crown of the head forward and up as the toes reach away in the opposite direction. Exhale, gently releasing. Inhale back to hands and knees. Curl the toes and exhale back to down dog. Couple breaths in your down dog. Just get centered and grounded. Connect to the hands. Connect to the feet. Let the head hang. Lengthen through the ribs. And then from here, we'll walk the feet forward to the hands. Again, finding our way into forward fold, just letting everything go. And then we'll bend the knees and slowly roll up to standing. And then we'll do that whole thing on the other side. So now left foot is forward, right foot to the back of the mat, finding your high lunge. Just taking a moment to get settled here. Feeling both that connectivity and that lightness. So shoulders should be right over the hips. You're not leaning forward or back. We'll be doing that in a moment. Just finding your center. And now with the breath. So now we straighten the back leg as we hinge forward. You're making one long line from the back heel out through the crown of the head and the fingers. And then exhale, we slowly come back into the lunge. Inhale as we drop the back knee down, nice and slow. You can decide how far you go. Exhale up. Again, inhale, reaching forward, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And exhale up. Inhale, slowly dropping down. And exhaling up. Last time, big breath in. And long, slow breath as we rise up. Last dropping of the back knee down. And exhaling up. Good. From here, just bring the hands to heart center. Now we're going to make our way knee to chest. So just stepping forward, sweeping that back knee up to the chest. Taking a moment. If you fall out of it, no problem. Come into it. Find your mountain pose in this supporting leg. Strong connection down, lifting up. And now we'll move into swan pose. So bend the supporting leg. That front foot is pushing its way back, like you're moving underwater. So push through that back heel, the lifted leg. Fingers are reaching in the same direction. So again, one line of energy from the heel all the way out through the crown of the head. And then we'll slowly bring the knee back to the chest. Again, just finding a moment of stillness and stability here. And then we'll step back into high lunge to see how slow and controlled you can step back. Arms come up for a breath. Take a nice big inhale here. And then exhale, hands to the floor. And now back to 3-point plank. So the left leg sweeps back and is lifted. But make sure the body's in plank, so don't let the hips come up. And again, if this is too much, just lower the foot, it's no problem. Nice big inhale here. And then exhale, foot to the floor. So I'll take a nice big inhale here. Exhale, drop the knees, drop the chest, coming all the way onto the belly. Let's take a nice big inhale into cobra. And exhale, gently release. From here, let's inhale to hands and knees. We'll push back to child's pose. So toes touching, knees wide, letting the hips sink back. Just let everything soften. So maybe your breath got a little bit elevated there. Maybe your heart rate got elevated. So just tune into that and let everything soften. Let the breath smooth itself out. Let the head be heavy. Let the arms be heavy. Let the hips be heavy. And then from here, let's inhale back to the hands and the knees. And we'll curl the toes under and exhale again back to down dog. Taking a moment in down dog just to get grounded. Feeling all the parts, but also feeling the body as a whole. Noticing what each part is doing individually and sensing you as an entire being in the pose. And then from here, we'll take a nice big inhale, lifting the right leg up toward the ceiling. Nothing changes, so the torso doesn't change, the upper body doesn't change. We just lifted the leg. Take a nice big breath here, and then on the exhale, we'll sweep the leg forward. We're gonna rise up into warrior one. So just taking a couple of moments here to establish the base pose. So strong back leg. This back left glute is engaged, pushing that back heel into the floor and the outer edge of that back foot, and try to square the hips to the top of the mat as best you can. There's a little lift of the pubic bone up, so the tailbone drops straight down. Energy up through the fingers, lengthening through the ribs. From here, let's take the hands behind the back. We're going to interlace the fingers. So really hold the lift of the pubic bone up here as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. Try to reach the hands toward the back heel. Take a nice big inhale here, lifting the chest slightly. Then on the exhale, we'll come up and over into humble warrior. Just letting the torso release as far as it will go comfortably. Let the head release here. No extra tension in the neck. And the arms are just coming overhead as best you're able to. So stay really strong in that back leg. From here, we're going to release the hands. We're going to rise back up into warrior one. And now from here, we're going to come into warrior three. So we sort of had a preparation before. Let's bring the hands to the heart. And we're going to transfer the weight forward onto the front leg again, lifting the back leg. You have a couple variations here with the arms. You can keep the hands at the heart center. You can bring the arms back alongside the body, or for the most exertion, you can bring the arms forward up by the ears. So you have one line between the head and the hands and the heel. And then from here, again, we're going to step back into warrior one. Just taking a moment to find the base pose again. Take one more nice big inhale here, and then exhale, hands to the floor. And again, we'll step back to down dog. Taking a couple moments here, again, to get grounded. And child's pose is always, always, always an option. Don't need to wait for my cue. You can always drop into child's pose. Let's do the other side. So nice big inhale, nice slow and controlled lift of the left leg. Try not to let anything in the body change. Only the leg has lifted. Strong energy through that lifted leg, through that heel. Take a nice big inhale here, and then we'll sweep the leg forward to warrior one on the second side. And just taking a moment to establish the base pose. Strong energy through that back leg. Finding that little lift of the pubic bone up as the tailbone drops straight down to the floor. Lengthening through the ribs, reaching up with the fingertips. Take one more breath here. And then again, we'll interlace the fingers behind you. Try to take your non-habitual interlace. So if you always have the left forefinger on top, try the right. You'll know you did it if it feels awkward. So again, try to keep the pubic bone lifted up as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. Reach the hands toward the back heel. Take one more nice big inhale here, lifting the chest slightly. And then exhale, we'll come up and over into humble warrior. Let the torso release. Let the head hang. So always discerning where we're applying effort and where we can let go, where there can be more ease. That is the practice, the balance between effort and ease. From here, we'll release the hands. Sweep the arms forward and up, finding warrior one for a moment. And then let's bring the hands to the heart. And we'll make our way into warrior 3. So transferring the weight forward onto the front leg. As soon as you lift that back leg, strong energy through the heel and connect that energy out the other way through the crown of the head. And then again, you have options with the arms, taking the option that suits you best today. Maybe it's not what you normally do. What does the body feel in this moment? And then from here, gently rebend the supporting leg. We'll step back into warrior 1, arms coming up for breath. Nice big inhale here, and exhale, hands to the floor. And once more, stepping back to down dog. Couple breaths here in down dog. Even though this is a working pose, the body is working. Find that essence of softening. And then from here, let's all drop to the knees. And one more time back into child. So toes touching, knees wide, hips sinking back, letting the torso release, letting the head release. And then from here, just see if you have space to walk the hands forward a tiny bit, lengthening through the ribs and the arms. And then spread the fingers nice and wide. Press the palms against the floor. See if you can keep the palms exactly where they are. Just pull the shoulder blades down the back. That in effect is helping lengthen the ribs. And then once you've found that, just soften everything. Let the arms go. Let the breath flow. And then from here, slowly bring ourselves upright. And we'll come over onto the back. We'll start with regular bridge pose. So feet hips distance apart. If you can comfortably reach and touch your heels with your fingertips, try that. If that doesn't feel good on the knees, which it doesn't for a lot of people, then the heels can be a little bit further away from the pelvis, no problem. From here, tuck the tailbone under. So we want to lengthen the tailbone first. Press the hands and the upper arms into the floor and take a nice big inhale, lifting the hips up, and keep the tailbone reaching toward the knee. So we want to keep the low back nice and elongated here. And if you have the space, you can walk the shoulders underneath you. If you can comfortably interlace your fingers and keep the arms straight, and take that option. And if that doesn't work for your shoulders, just keep the hands planted against the floor and keep the triceps pushing down. Keep the hips lifting. Imagine my hand is right between your shoulder blades, not only lifting it up, but lifting that space up and back towards your chin. So this is a back bend in the upper back. And the more we do that, the more we want to lengthen the tailbone toward the knees. Let's do one more nice big inhale here. And then we'll gently release on the exhale. And from here, let's bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees open. And one hand to the belly, one hand up to the chest. And just connect with your breath. Allowing yourself to feel. Let the breath smooth if it got elevated. Again, we're working with that slow, conscious, controlled breath directly tied into the nervous system. So keeping in a state of calm, no matter what the body is doing. And from here, let's bring the hands to the outsides of the thighs. Gently help the knees together. Let's hug the knees up to the chest and just rock a little bit from side to side. Releasing any tension or anything that needs to be released. And then from here, we're going to come into happy baby. So grabbing the outsides of the feet. The feet are flexed, so it's like they're parallel to the ceiling. Now, if you can't comfortably grab the outsides of the feet, no problem. You can grab onto the ankles or even the shins, no problem. But there's an energy through the feet. So we want that flexion. And the elbows are on the insides of the knees. And then wherever you're grabbing, you're not pulling downward, but you're letting the shoulders release down toward the floor. And just by that action, there's going to be a little bit of a soft pull. So it's not an active pulling of the feet down. And just imagine that the knees are releasing toward the armpits. Let's rock a little bit from side to side here. Usually feels kind of nice on the low back. We'll just see how it feels for you today. And then once more, finding some stillness here. Let the upper body release. So even though the arms are in a position holding the legs, let the shoulders be heavy. No tension in the jaw or the neck. And this might be a really big stretch for you. So see if you can just breathe a little bit deeper, finding the element of softness here. And then from here, let's release that, hugging the knees together. And just hug the knees as tight up to the chest as you can. Keeping the head on the floor. Just feeling a little pressure of the thighs to the belly space. And from here, let's bring the feet to the floor. We're going to come into a laying down twist. So the arms come out to the left and the right. We're going to pick the hips up and drop the hips over to the right. Then we're going to pick the knees up to the chest and drop the knees over to the left. And if it feels okay on your head and neck, you can turn the head to look over toward the right. Keep the eyes closed and just start to relax and let go here. So wherever you landed in the twist here, that's your twist. Allow the body to start letting go as we start to head toward Savasana. Start to let things release. Let the upper body be heavy. So even if that right shoulder kind of pops off the floor a little bit here, no problem. There's still a general sense of heaviness. So just letting the pose do the work together with the breath. These should be the deepest breaths of the practice. Rich, deep, full inhales. Long, slow exhales. Every exhale, you're connecting to a deeper letting go. And then on your next inhale, let's bring the knees back through center. And just get the spine realigned. And then we'll pick the hips up and drop them over to the left. Knees up to the chest, and we'll drop the knees now to the right. And again, if it feels okay on the head, turning the head over toward the left. And if that doesn't feel good on the neck, you can just keep it centered. And again, just letting go. Beginning that journey towards surrendering. So really the only thing actively working here is that deep breath, and that is helping facilitate a deeper release into the twist. Twists are really good for the health of the spine. And a lot of the ancient studies, as well as modern science, tell us that aging is directly relative to the health of the spine. So just being able to relax deeper into the twist is really good for the nervous system. Deep inhales. Again, let the shoulders be heavy here. Let the arms be heavy. Let the knees be heavy. And then on the next inhale, let's bring the knees back through center, getting the spine realigned. And again, let's hug the knees up to the chest one more time. Just rocking a little bit from side to side. And then we're going to come into reclining pigeon. So left ankle will cross over the right knee and we'll hug the right thigh up to the chest. And if you can't comfortably hug the thigh, you can always use a strap or a scarf or something here around that right thigh to hold. And just make sure you have a strong flexion in the left foot here. And make sure that the pinky toe side of the foot is flexing as much as the big toe side of the foot. That just helps protect the knee here. Just staying for a few breaths here. Again, let the upper body be as unengaged as possible. So even though the arms are holding here, let the shoulders soften. Let the jaw soften. And just breathe into the stretch here. Breathe into the low back and the hip space. And then we'll gently release and just switching sides. So now crossing right ankle over left knee, left thigh up to the chest. Again, find a strong flexion in that right foot and breathe deeply into the hip area, as if with each rich inhale, you could take that breath, that space, that air right into the hip itself. Every exhale, soften a little bit more. And then let's gently release, hugging both knees together one last time. And this time we'll bring the forehead up to the knees, curling into a nice tight little ball. See how tight you can make yourself. Bring the forehead all the way up, more. And then we will release into Savasana. So extending the legs out along the mat. Bring the feet nice and wide. If you want, you can even lengthen the glute muscles toward the heels to create a nice lengthened low back. And then bring the arms away from the body, palms face up. And again, if it feels nice, you can walk the shoulders underneath you slightly just to create an openness across the heart space. And then from here, let's take 3 really deep, full, our final conscious breaths here. So a nice big inhale through the nose and through the mouth with a sigh. Just letting it all go. Let's do that 2 more times. Huge breath into the nose. Letting that vibration ripple through the body. Last one. And then just release. Feel those external, the big muscles release right away. We can feel that quite readily. But allow yourself to begin to tune into and discern the deeper layers. So this is a process. And it takes a moment. That's why we spend at least 5, 6, 7 minutes in Shavasana. There's a natural unwinding that occurs, but it takes a moment, particularly when we've been working through the practice to systematically create and release tension, create and release tension. Shavasana is the only pose where we consciously let all the tension go. Not just the tension that we consciously created through the practice, but all the tension that we subconsciously and unconsciously hold in our body on a regular basis. So let the breath go, letting the natural breath find its way back into the body. So no effort, no thought required. Beginning to look deeper inward to see, are there any places where you habitually hold your tension that are still trying to grip or tighten or keep you alert? just like an ice cube melting in the sun, bit by bit, layer by layer, we let it go. And take a moment here to just observe all the places where your body is making contact with the floor, where you are being supported by the floor, but beyond the floor, the earth itself. Feel the back of the head heavy and released. Feel the backs of the shoulders, the backs of the arms, and the backs of the hands. Loose and relaxed, no tension. Feeling the whole upper back released into and supported by the floor, the mid back, and down to the low back and the hip area. Take a moment here and just to feel your presence through this pelvis area, sort of our ground zero, if you will, of our being, the root chakra area. Feel that connection of the pelvis to the floor, to the earth. Feel the heaviness, the weight, the presence of you. Feeling the soft extension of the legs away from the body, the backs of the legs, the calves, and the heels, heavy and released. Imagine you could feel the bones themselves, the density of your skeletal system, releasing toward the ground with gravity. Nothing in the muscular system is holding it up. And now, without changing anything in the physical body, just bring your attention to your breath, to the belly space. And observe. You're no longer an active participant controlling or working with the breath. You're simply observing the breath move of its own accord. So watch as it gently draws air in and releases it out. Just noticing the organic rhythm that unfolds. Noticing the quality, the depth or shallowness of each breath. Smoothness or roughness, whatever it is, there's no right or wrong way for it to be. But just observing something as it is, a very valuable skill out in the rest of the world. And then from here, gently begin to deepen the breath. Keep it very soft, but just finding an intentional breath again. So breathing with the intention of rejuvenation, of renewal. So taking this fresh oxygen, taking this prana that you've created through the practice and moving it again through the body with the breath. So breathe into the muscles, Breathe into the organs, into the bones, into the bloodstream. Breathe that rejuvenation up into the mind space and use the breath here to clear out any last little cobwebby bits that may still be hanging on. And then we'll begin to gently re-engage and reawaken the physical body. So just beginning to wiggle the fingers softly, the toes, moving the wrists, the ankles, whatever organically feels like it wants a little movement. And then we'll come into a nice big stretch. So we'll take the arms up and overhead, stretching from fingertips to toe tips and everything in between. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then releasing. And let's gently roll onto the left side, taking fetal position. You can use your upper left arm as a pillow for the head. Just spending a few moments here, maintaining a deep awareness of the body, the position you're in, deep awareness of the breath that is still moving, still functioning, still supporting you. A deep awareness of self. And then keeping the eyes closed, using as little energy as possible, gently make your way upright to a seated position. Finding a seat with a nice tall spine. And bringing the hands together at the heart. Once more, just noticing right palm and fingertips gently pressing against left palm and fingertips. This mudra, this hand symbol here, symbolizing the coming together, the union that is yoga, of all the oppositional parts of the self. And we have so many. So the harmonization, the coming together of all the parts of who we are together here at the heart space. This day is space of deep wisdom, deep knowing, deep clarity and calm. I'm just finding gratitude for this practice that helps strengthen our connection to this place within. Let's take a final inhale of class together. And in deep gratitude, bowing forward together. Namaste.